Like, do you think teams switch too much?
Yes. It's funny you say that. In the Clipper game, we had switching built in versus Kawhi and versus James, and I vetoed it in the second half.
Now, is that what really happened? LeBron says their game plan against both Harden and Kawhi was to switch. So I went through the footage of that game to see. Right from the start, we get a ball screen for Harden, and while it does seem like Reeves wants to stick to him, he has to concede the switch, there's no time on the shot clock, and AD makes legal contact with a high-five contest that turned into an air ball. However, right after this, we see Reeves not switch on this Harden ball screen. The Lakers were in good position to rotate out of this until LeBron is late picking up Tice on the cut. Here's a step-up screen where Reeves clearly sticks with the ball. It looks like the game plan was to rotate to cover the pocket pass as D'Lo tries to push Rui over there, but he stops short, AD can't get a hand up, and it's another bucket. Now let's check on Kawhi Leonard and how the Lakers are defending him. Rui is his primary man, and when they set this ball screen, it's a clear switch. And I don't think this is an advantage for Leonard against Davis, but he jump hooks it in his face from 12 feet. Here it is again back towards the middle, and an immediate switch. AD does a good job to contain, and with the zoom action on the right side, the Clippers get man into the middle, and AD gets there just in time to get smoshed on. Here's a little different action with Kawhi coming off a pin down, and the Lakers do not switch this. Russ cuts through, which enables his man to help off and cause a convulsion on the shot. While the help did lead to an offensive rebound, Russ does not make them pay with his slowed down Euro step bank shot. We get our first hedge against Kawhi, so it just doesn't look like they want to switch with anyone unless it's AD's man setting the screen. Reeves jumps out to prevent Kawhi from going that way. LeBron then rotates over to pick up Russ in the flat. Notice how Rui is able to maintain this matchup on Kawhi, no switch. Dinwiddie's job is to close out to the first pass, and LeBron would have closed to the corner. Instead, they leave this wide open and Coffee makes him pay.
I know T. Lue more than any other player that's ever been with T. Lue, and I know he plays target ball too.
So who is Lue targeting when he calls this play with both of his fists? Well, the first action forces the switch off Russell onto Harden, but the real action is getting LeBron involved in the twist back to the middle. Prince should be bumping down to the roll man, but is afraid to leave Kawhi. Maybe Cam could have hustled over there, but that doesn't happen, and LeBron is stuck in the middle watching the lob go into the basket. Here's another instance of Harden getting a ball screen, and they do not switch it. Reddish goes underneath and dares Harden to shoot it. The game started to break in the Clippers' favor at this part, where they play drop coverage on Harden. Hayes backs up to lure Harden to take a mid-range shot. Reeves does a good job making contact on the roll man until Dinwiddie can hustle back into position so they don't have to switch. However, Rui doesn't pick up his man cutting, and it forces Hayes to deal with man in the lane. A stiff shoulder gets some separation, and a tough fadeaway bumps the lead to 9. But on this screen, they are not switching. Rui steps out to hedge while Dinwiddie keeps his position on the ball. However, it does force AD to pick up Kawhi on his roll, and while they still do a great job containing him under the hoop and through the lane, Davis can't protect the rim while he still has to guard Kawhi in the perimeter. This means when Austin Reeves gets backdoored by man, only Rui is back there, and he's ineffective on this nice inside hand reverse. Notice LeBron's frustration building. We're still in the first half, but it looks as though the Lakers had already changed their defensive strategy. D'Lo does not switch off of Harden as AD hovers in the lane. Problem is, it's their worst defender on the ball, and the result is predictable. You can see Lue targeting Rui, telling Kawhi to screen for Harden. Rui is clearly trying to hedge and recover, but Dinwiddie gets stuck underneath Leonard, forcing the switch. Realizing they have a little size advantage at the elbow, they go back to Kawhi, who attacks on the catch with a spin and floats it in as Spencer can't stay in front. They target Rui once again, and get used to this for the playoffs, Lakers fans, and this time it is a switch. The defense was pretty solid until the point where he fouls the three-point shooter and gives them 3 free throws. So far, it looks to me like the Lakers are trying their best to mix up the coverage on Kawhi and Harden, and despite this being a good strategy, the stats prove it wasn't working at all. If you're trying to predict how well ball-dominant players will do against this Lakers defense, you have to dig deep into the footage like I have, and it's that kind of advantage you need when playing Sleeper, the ultimate fantasy sports app. What's cool is that you can set your over-under picks before the game or do it live while it's happening. Just pick at least 2 players and whether they'll get more or less from a host of different stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money. So the other night I got in Sleeper and I got some picks that really worked out well. I had Curry getting over 24.5 points, easy, no problem. Avdia, I thought was going to do pretty well against the Portland Trailblazers defense, and then Lou Dort also did very well in combined stats there. So look at my results. A little bit of money there turned into a lot more money afterwards. So you got to play. And if you use my code BBALL100, they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $500. There are so many ways to win. It raises the stakes when you watch it, so what are you waiting for? Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. To decipher what LeBron is saying in this moment,
We had switching versus Kawhi and versus James, and vetoed it in the second half.
it sounds to me like Darvin Ham decided not to change the way they were defending, despite the 14-point deficit, and LeBron had to take matters into his own hands. This isn't the first time he's done this, as Lakers insider Anthony Irwin reported earlier this season that LeBron will often override whatever Ham's play call was as they come out of the huddle. We also saw him do this in a pivotal game against the Bulls in the 2015 playoffs, vetoing the play David Blatt drew up to take matters into his own hands and nail the game winner that propelled them to the finals. As for the score of this game against the Clippers, the second half clearly went in favor of the Lakers as they completely flipped the script and held Harden down severely, but Kawhi continued to do damage, so let's look to see if they stop switching. First off, LeBron is now the primary defender of Kawhi to start the third. While he doesn't switch in the first screen, he does back off when it's AD on the second screen and the switch occurs. They pull AD way out to the corner and Kawhi finds space to get the shot off and barely misses. Another pin down for Kawhi and LeBron stays glued to him without switching. On the ball screen for Coffee, it seems to me like Reeves could have easily gone underneath this as LeBron hedges in order to stay attached to Kawhi. He's forced to switch when Coffee turns the corner, however, and his pressure helps lead to the Rui deflection and nice tap to the streaking Reeves to begin a comeback. Again, LeBron is glued to Kawhi, refusing to switch after 2 consecutive pin-aways. But once Kawhi curls towards the lane, they have no choice and AD must switch onto the ball. AD looks like he wants to switch the handoff. Rui did not get that memo, and Kawhi tries to take Davis once again, but this time gets stuck in an area where Davis excels defensively, erasing this shot into a jump ball. Watch LeBron go under the screen away to avoid the switch. Then the Lakers hedge with D'Lo so LeBron can remain on Kawhi, playing great defense on him until Leonard spots AD with both feet in the paint and skips to Tice for an open corner 3. When the Clippers run a split off of Tice on the elbow, LeBron again refuses to switch off of Kawhi, but the handoff makes Davis switch on to Harden. They catch LeBron staring at the ball a little too much, snapping a pass to his man for a quick catch and shoot that extended their sizable lead. Kawhi sees James on him to start and wants Davis out of the way, so he sends Tice to the left corner before targeting Reeves in the pick and roll. Reeves hedges to allow LeBron to jump back in front of the ball expertly. Kawhi gets impatient and tries a deep 3 that bricks. Like we saw in the first half, Rui won't switch off of Harden unless it's Davis's man setting the screen. The Clippers force a switch again to get Rui onto Harden, but Harden figures he can get another quick release splash with LeBron being 10 feet off of Kawhi. However, a good closeout dissuades Kawhi, and the pressure on the ball lures Leonard into clearing out for an offensive foul and turnover. With so much focus on guarding Kawhi, it does seem to distract LeBron from his help duties, as he should have rotated to the short roll, leaving Prince to foul at the rim. Midway through the fourth, the Clippers try a new tactic, stop with all the screening and just let their best scorer go against LeBron. After the initial slide laterally, he can't keep up with Kawhi's drive, AD doesn't help, and the lead grows with this layup. Look how much energy LeBron is exerting in order to prevent Kawhi from even getting the ball, and this denial causes Kawhi to lose the ball out of bounds for a huge turnover. With a tie game deep in the fourth, the Lakers get away with some poor defense, as both Russell and LeBron lose their men completely, but Harden doesn't see it and throws it away. Here's a pin down on LeBron, who's clearly not switching this one, and when the pick and roll happens, James hedges in order to allow Reeves to stick to the ball and not switch. This works perfectly for the Lakers defense, as Powell is forced to heave up a terrible shot and let the Lakers add to their 3-point lead. Here's something related to LeBron and JJ's discussion about defending the baseline out of bounds.
The guy that's guarding the ball, when he says 1,000, 2,000, 3, 1,000, why doesn't he just take the guard that's coming out for the pick-to-picker? And the guard that's guarding the pick-to-picker guy just falls right to the guy that's taking the ball out.
Watch how LeBron is in complete control of this defensive sequence, making sure everyone is in the right place to defend this properly, despite just getting out of the huddle where you'd think Coach Ham would have already gone over this in detail. LeBron starts on Harden, who's inbounding the ball, tells Rui to guard Tice in the corner, while AD can guard Kawhi before he makes his cut. Now LeBron picks up Leonard coming up, Rui eventually gets over to Harden, and AD can roam the paint. However, Kawhi gets the better of it on this lob and drives straight to the rim. And in the game-deciding possession, LeBron again does not switch off of Kawhi on this pin down, maintains good position, and contests the tough midi fadeaway that preserves a huge win for the Lakers. So, to answer the question of whether LeBron should be coaching the Lakers, it's possible he is doing a version of that already. And in certain situations and adjustments, it would definitely be a great idea by Darvin Ham to just listen to LeBron, since it usually goes well. The problem with trying to be a player coach is that there are simply too many variables to deal with in addition to performing your duties as the best player on your team. So it's just not realistic that he could be the head coach as well as play 35 minutes where he'd need to juggle lineups, foul trouble, communication with players, strategy, referees, and a host of other things. While we did see some of what LeBron was talking about in the second half, from what I could see, the biggest difference was the effort LeBron was putting out on defense, which I'm sure we'll see a lot more of in the playoffs. Oh yeah, and he went supernova from beyond the arc to continue his elite three-point shooting this season. In an effort to keep his top guys fresh, Ham experimented with lineups for the first 2/3 of the season, and that kept their record artificially low. Now that he's significantly bumped up his main guys' minutes to reflect playoff rotations, they're playing extremely well, winning 10 of their last 13 games and threatening to get out of the play-in tournament. So keep your eye on these huddles and how harmonious they are as Ham continues to try and coach this team. But also know that they've got one of the smartest players ever to play the game as their lead assistant, someone who can take over the clipboard and give his teams the best chance of winning.